Hello students, in the last lecture we studied peptide bonds, and in that case we studied that if the two amino acids, alpha amino acids groups are attached to each other, then it will become a dipeptide. If three are going to attach with a peptide bond, that is NHC double bond O, then that is tripeptide. If 4, then tetrapeptide, and so on. And when more than 100 means 100 alpha amino acids are going to attach to each other, that strand will form protein. That strand will form protein. So now we are going to study next is the types of proteins. Types of proteins. What are the types of proteins? These are depend upon the molecular shape. This is important. Molecular shape. Please remember this thing. Depend upon the molecular shape, we can classify types of proteins. These are globular protein and fibrous protein. Now globular means we know that this should be in a spherical form. Okay. While fibrous means this is in terms of fibers, that is in the form of strands. In the form of strands. So see here, these globular protein are nothing but spherical in shape. These are nothing but spherical in shape. Okay. How these are? These are the coiling are. These are the coiling like this. They are coiling like this. They are coiling like this. Okay. And this type of globular proteins, they are soluble in water. These are coiling. Suppose this is one of the axis, then these globular protein are coiling like this. These are coiling like this. Okay. So we can see the globular protein will look like this, coiling in the form of spherical shape. Okay. And then examples are, this is the insulin. Okay. We know very well what is the insulin. Then egg albumin, this is the egg protein. This is also we studied or you know in the biology very well. Then this is the serum albumin. The serum word is very famous and very essential in our COVID war. You heard the word the serum donation. That serum albumin. Then leguminic, that is a legumin protein which is present in the pulses, all sort of our dals. Okay, those are present proteins are the legumin. Then fibrous proteins, these are the elongated rod shape like this, elongated rod shape. These are the rods. Okay, these are holding the polypeptide chains of proteins parallel to each other. These all are parallel to each other. These are parallel to each other like this. They are parallel to each other like this. Okay, so this is our fibrous protein, and these are insoluble in water. Insoluble in water. From the shape only you come to know which is the example of this protein. This is nothing but our hair. In our hair there is keratin protein is present, in our nail as well as wool. And from the structure of hair you come to know that these are nothing but elongated rod like shape. Okay. Then myosin, this is a protein present in muscles. Okay, and this myosin gives the shape to that, means that this protein gives the shapes to that muscles. The non-vegetarians also knows that how the shape of muscles. Okay, so these are nothing but strands like this, strands in this way. Okay, which coagulates, it is always globular protein, which is globular protein coagulates. So the egg, when you are going to boil the egg, all proteins are coagulated and those are nothing but globular protein or spherical shape. So these are soluble in water. While if you are going to cut your piece of hair, you cut piece of hair and you put it in the water, it is insoluble in water. Okay, it is going to float on the water, so that is insoluble in water. So very easily you can remember what is globular protein and what is fibrous protein. Globular protein and fibrous protein. Now next topic is structure of proteins. Next topic is structure of proteins. Okay, different functions of proteins we can understand by studying the structures, functions. Okay, so structure of protein is related with functions. Remember this thing. Here it is primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. In this case, whatever we studied, this globular protein and fibrous protein, globular protein and fibrous protein, they are tertiary. We are going to study it again, but just the idea I am going to give you. These are the examples of tertiary protein. Now we will see one by one. Okay, we will see one by one. First we will see primary structure of protein. Now what is this? The sequence of constituent alpha amino acid residues linked by peptide bonds. Linked by peptide bonds. So now see here in our textbook, this is a representation. This is the representation of primary structure of protein. What is this? See here. Here it is the peptide bond. Here it is peptide bond. C double bond NH, peptide bond. So this is one alpha amino acid, this is another alpha amino acid, this is third alpha amino acid, this is fourth alpha amino acid, and so on. They linked by peptide bond, C double bond ONH. So this is a primary structure. They link to each other by peptide bond and form a chain. When the ending is with here NH, that means there is no ending, it is continuous, but still we can say if NH at the end, then this is known as N terminal. If the C double bond O is at the end, then we can say this is C terminal. So this is a representation by structure of formula. This is the one of the way of writing primary protein. Another method of writing protein is amino acid we can write in a 3-letter short form. 3-letter short form. Alanine we can write as a ALA. This is in this table we studied this thing. This glycine we can represent by GLY. This alanine we can represent by ALA. So here it is C. When there is a ALA, then this is alanine. If there is GLY, then this is glycine. Okay, this is glycine, while this is ALA, that is alanine. If it is SER, then this is serine, SER. If it is TYR, then this is tyrosine. Okay, are you getting this thing? If it is LYS, then this is lysine. So this is one of the pattern of alpha amino acids attached to each other, and we can write it in the form of short forms, 3-letter short forms. And if the order is different, of these structures, means if you are going to change that order in this way, means alanine, glycine are attached to each other. If the order is different, here it is glycine, then alanine, then serine, then instead of tyrosine, now here it is again glycine, then these two are different proteins. If the order is different, then these are different proteins as sequences are different. Remember this thing. This is also one of the representation of primary proteins. Representation of primary proteins in terms of amino acid symbols. This is N terminal, while this is C terminal. So these are the two way of representing primary amines. Now we are going to see the secondary structure. This is again very important part, and here we are going to imagine something on the plane of the paper, because we are going to study the three-dimensional arrangements. What is this? This is three-dimensional arrangements of localized regions of a protein chain. Localized region means a certain part of that chain. Okay, we assign certain part of that chain because it is a very long chain, you know it very well. So to study, we are going to take a certain part of that chain, okay, and the three-dimensional elements we are going to study in that certain part. What is here? Hydrogen bonding between NH proton of one amide linkage and CO oxygen of another gives rise to the secondary structure. Gives rise to the secondary structure. This is important. Okay. And there are two types. One is alpha helix and another one is beta pleated sheet. Okay. Helix, it is a that is just like a globular protein that helix is going to form. So they are going to coiling, we have to consider some axis and it is coiled around that like this. Okay. So this is nothing but alpha helix. And beta pleated sheet, they are parallel to each other. They are parallel to each other like this, and there is a link in between these two strands. There is a link in between these two strands, and we can represent it three-dimensionally. We can represent it three-dimensionally. Okay. So first of all, we will see the features of the alpha helix structure. Features of the alpha helix structure. Okay. We will study first the theory of this alpha helix structure. So what is that? Polypeptide chain twist into a right-handed clockwise spiral. Twisted into right, like a right-handed clockwise spiral. See, this is the spiral. Okay. And this is clockwise. This is clockwise. Means how? This is, suppose this is the axis. This is the axis. Then this is circular or coiled like this. Okay. This is coiled like this, clockwise direction. Clockwise direction in this way. Okay. Clockwise direction in this way. Okay. So from here in this way, right handed or clockwise. We know this is the right handed and clockwise. This is the clockwise direction. This is the right handed direction. Okay. Then each turn of the helix has 3.6 amino acids. This is very important and interesting also. 3.6. Each turn means what? Suppose this is one circular part of that. Then if this is the turn over there, then each turn from here to here it is 3.6 amino acids. 3.6 amino acids. See now here. This, from this end to this. Okay. This is first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. And fourth is going to complete over here. Then up to this, there are total 3.6. There are total 3.6 residues. 3.6 residues. Here it is also mentioned 3.6 residues in between this, because the part of fourth amino acid is remaining over here. So the from this end to this end, okay. So each turn, this is the turn of the helix. Has 3.6 amino acids. Okay. What is next? A C double bond O group of one amino acid is hydrogen bonded to NH group of the fourth amino acid along the chain. See now here. Fourth. Okay. This is the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. This is the C double bond O of the fourth, and this is the NH of the first. If you start from here, this is one, then this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. And in between these two, there is formation of hydrogen bond. I hope you are understanding it very well. See the structure in the textbook thoroughly, count them down, and then see whether it is 3.6 residues connected to each other in the spiral, and at the fourth carbon there is a or the fourth alpha amino acid and the first are linked to each other by hydrogen bonds. Okay. See, this one is, here it is the link, here it is the bond formed in between O and H. here it is the bond form in between C double bond OH, like this. Everywhere there is the bond formation, and that formation is fourth amino acid linked. Fourth. If you start from 1, then you have to cross second, you have to cross third, and then at the fourth position, due to spiral shape, the C double bond O and NH are attached to each other due to spiral shape. This is again important. This is due to helix. This thing had happened due to helix. Okay. Hydrogen bonds are parallel to the axis. See, all these hydrogen bonds are parallel to the axis. If this is the axis, then these all these hydrogen bonds are parallel to the axis. Okay, means axis of helix. While R groups extended outward from the helix core. These R groups, see here, these are the R groups extended outside. These are extended outside. These are extended outside. So this is extended outside. This is extended outside. These are the R groups. This is extended outside. This is extended outside. All these are the R groups. Okay. An example given is myosin in muscle and alpha keratin in hair. Myosin in muscle and alpha keratin in hair. This is the helix structure. Helix structure. Okay. Now next one is beta pleated sheet. Okay. Beta pleated sheet. This is nothing but in this form. Beta pleated sheet. Okay. This is one sheet, this is another sheet, and they are pleated. So three-dimensionally we are showing them, just like if you are going to fold the paper. If you are going to fold the paper in this way, if you fold the paper like this, okay, then these are the pleated sheets. This is the pleated sheet. See, just like a three-dimensional structure, it goes up, then down, then it comes up and then go down. Same way here, it goes down, it comes up, then again go down, comes up, go down, comes up, like this. This is a three-dimensional structure. In this way I can explain you, this is a three-dimensional structure. The shape will be like this. And so many pleats. Here it is, I am just showing two pleats over here. So many pleats you can see in this beta pleated structure. Okay, means what? Here it is, two or more polypeptide chains called strands line up side by side. See, this is one, this is another. This is the same, it is represented in the three-dimensional structure. This is one, this is another. Line up side by side. Okay. Now these extended strands of polypeptide chains held together by hydrogen bonding. Again here there is a hydrogen bonding. In alpha helix we see the hydrogen bonding just like parallel to the axis of the helix. This is the way. While now here, see now, here it is O, here it is O and H. This is the OH bond. This is OH bond. This is OH bond. This is OH bond. This is OH bond. Are you getting this thing? This is OH bond. Okay. Here it is. See, this is OH bond. Here it is OH bond, OH bond, OH bond, OH bond. In this way they are linked to each other. This one pleat, this is another pleat, and they are attached to each other or linked to each other by OH bond. See, this is a three-dimensional structure, while it is a two-dimensional we can show. You can easily see HO, OH bond, HO, OH bond in this way. This is the dotted line. Here it is dotted line. Okay. And this is C double bond O NH bonds. These lie in the plane of the sheet. This is lie in a plane of the sheet. This is the plane of the paper, so this is the plane of the sheet. In between these also they lie in a planes of the sheet. Hydrogen bonding occurs between NH and CO groups nearby amino acid residues in the neighboring chains. We had seen this. There should be the neighboring chains like this, and then only this is possible. If they are not neighboring and the distance is quite big than this, then it is not possible to form that NH bond or the bond in between C double bond O and NH. Means bonding in between oxygen and hydrogen is not possible. They should be parallel to each other like this. Okay. The R groups are oriented above and below the plane of the sheet. Above and below the plane of the sheet, and that R groups are again smaller one. So this is, suppose this is the plane of the paper. This is the plane of the paper. Then R are like this, above and below the plane of the sheets, above and below the plane of the sheets, in this way. So in the next lecture we are going to see the tertiary and quaternary structures of the proteins, and then we are going to study denaturation of proteins, and after that we will start enzymes. So thank you students.